It's Wednesday, the 31st of January, and you are watching Primetime News. Good evening, and many thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Selima Shumwefeleni Masipa. In our lead story tonight, the Office of the Prime Minister has called for evidence of alleged corrupt practices by Prime Minister Sarah Kuhongerwa-Amadila in the appointment of Petroleum Commissioner Maggie Shino. Our journalist Linnea Dishena filed our lead report.
A media release issued on Tuesday by the Office of the Prime Minister strongly refuted social media allegations of favoritism and corrupt practices against Kuhongerwa-Amadila. The statement emphasized that the appointment of Shino was done in compliance with the Public Service Act 13 of 1995 on matters of civil servants. The statement reads, any person that is aggrieved by the appointment is advised to follow the grievance procedures, adding that the Prime Minister strongly refused the allegations of favoritism and corruption leveled against her. It read she also distanced herself from allegations of any personal relationship between her and Ms. Shino. Shino was appointed as Petroleum Commissioner in 2016. Reporting for Primetime News, I'm Michael Madimba.
On to the ongoing fish rot corruption case. The Windhoek High Court earlier today reserved a judgment in a matter in which the fish rot accused are challenging the Prosecutor General Martha Imalwa's nomination to appoint South African curators Johan Engelbrecht and Kunrad Stander as the overseers of their now frozen assets. Eba Kandovadu attended court proceedings and filed this report.
The Windhoek High Court reserved judgment in the matter in which fish rot suspects are challenging Prosecutor General Martha Imalwa's nomination to appoint South African curators as administrators of their now frozen assets. Presiding Judge Oben Sibaya reserved the ruling for 19 February 2024. Johan Engelbrecht and Conrad Stander of Icon Insolvency Practitioners are set to replace the current curators Ian McLaren and David Bruno, who have applied for the termination of their services if Imalwa is successful. Former Justice Minister Sakeus Shangala, former Fisheries Minister Bernard Esau, his son-in-law Thompson Haitikulipi, former Investec Asset Management Managing Director James Haitikulipi, Pius Mwetalula and Ricardo Gustav instead want local curators Herald Hecht and Pierre Nutzer to be appointed. In court documents, Imalwa, however, said that two nominees wrote a proposal to her in September last year about their unwillingness to wait for years, depending on the criminal trial's finalization, before they can be paid for their services. Represented by South African lawyer Vas Soni, the suspects argued that Imalwa's nominees will be based out of the country, causing serious operational and logistical challenges. They also argued that such an appointment has never been made in Namibia and that the fee that will be charged will be increased appreciably. Imalwa indicated in court documents that she has not been able to secure a nomination for a Namibian curator but managed to find two suitable South African curators. Konjeni Ambinga reporting for Primetime News.
On to the political sphere. Rally for Democracy and Progress, also known as RDP Secretary for Information and Publicity, Nginingirwa Ndubo Kashume, has called on the Namibian youth to take an active role in their futures by participating in the upcoming elections. Linnea Dishena filed this story.
Speaking to Primetime News on Tuesday, Kashume said as the country prepares for the 2024 presidential and national elections, it is important for the youth to acquaint themselves and realize how important it is for them to take part in political decision-making through voting. He said democracy is a new political system in Namibia, and many people, especially the youth, do not understand what a multi-party democratic system constitutes. He stressed by voting it means when the youth is demanding things to be done for themselves, they have done their part. You can't demand a clinic, a school, a road or house and basic necessities every citizen of our land requires. Kashume said RDP is taking part in the elections and is scheduled to deliberate on the preparation for internal democratic elections on 24 February 2024, which will be followed by a fourth national convention to elect its national leadership. Reporting for Primetime News, I'm Michael Madimba.
On to political events in neighboring Zimbabwe, where opposition politician Job Sikala was released after spending more than a year and a half in prison after a Harare court handed him a suspended sentence. The 51-year-old outspoken and popular government critic was one of the most prominent figures to be arrested in recent years in what rights groups have described as a crackdown on dissent in the Southern African country. More in the following insert by AFP.
Job Sikala has been given a 2-year prison term, wholly suspended for a period of 5 years, on condition that he does not commit a crime involving incitement to commit public violence. He is now a free man. This is the only case that has been keeping him in custody, so he is going to come out. We're got instruction to take the matter up to the High Court on appeal. What we want is an acquittal, not a conviction with a lighter sentence. No, we disagree with that. Good morning. I'm fine. All right.
Your top roundup is up next with the business segment thereafter. Welcome to Primetime Biz, your premier source for all updates business and economics related. The city of Windhoek says it is busy replacing the water distribution network in Groot Aub in order to start installing individual and community prepaid water meters. More insights from this report.
The City of Windhoek spokesperson Lydia Mutenya confirmed this in an interview with Primetime News today. She added that the City of Windhoek will construct a bigger reservoir. This follows a request by Groot Aub community leader Demetrio Bakers to construct additional water reservoirs, as the existing one, he says, was initially constructed to cater for less than 10,000 people. Mutenya confirmed that approximately 24,000 people are currently living in the settlement, but explained that the settlement's water shortages are not linked to the reservoir size. Mutenya said the City of Windhoek currently has 6 existing boreholes in the settlement. The city recently announced they had successfully drilled a 200-meter borehole in partnership with the Ministry of Agriculture, Water and Land Reform. 7 additional boreholes will be drilled, the City of Windhoek announced, adding that this will put an end to the settlement's water shortages. Reporting for Primetime News, I'm Michael Madimba.
So the biggest problem or the biggest challenge we have with the water issue is that when that reservoir was made, it was planned for 6,000 to 10,000 people. And with the influx of people, our population is currently 24,000. So meaning that the borehole that was planned for 6,000 to 10,000 people must now give 24,000 people water. So there will always be a shortage. So what needs to happen is that if they are done with all these boreholes, they need to put another reservoir, as well as strategically put up tanks in each location, so that those tanks can provide for each location.
On to the business of aviation. Airline Lufthansa is offering numerous rebooking options ahead of Thursday's strike by German airport security staff. The labor strike is expected to severely disrupt passenger air service at many German airports, as the security staff are needed to clear luggage and passengers into terminals, and flights cannot continue without them. For the bigger picture, here's more from DPA.
The labor strike is expected to severely disrupt passenger air service at many German airports, as the security staff are needed to clear luggage and passengers into terminals and flights and cannot continue without them. Passengers booked to fly out of the airports in Frankfurt, Hamburg, Bremen, Berlin, Leipzig, Dresden or Erfurt on Thursday have been urged by Lufthansa not to go to the airports, as boarding will not be possible. The Munich and Nuremberg airports will not be affected by the strike, as public sector employees covered by a different union contract work there. Lufthansa said those taking trains to Frankfurt for flights abroad should also be aware that boarding won't take place on Thursday. Lufthansa called on customers to rebook their flights themselves via the app or to contact a service center. Konjeni Ambinga reporting for Primetime News.
This is where the top segment concludes for tonight. Up next is tomorrow's countrywide weather forecast, followed by a roundup of the latest economic news. Welcome to Sport Planet, the segment for all things sporting action. We commence with the Premier League. Manchester United manager Erik ten Hag insisted today he had dealt with Marcus Rashford's absence from the FA Cup tie against Newport, and it was now a matter of case closed. Ten Hag claimed Rashford was absent from United's 4-2 fourth round win in South Wales on Sunday by saying he was ill on Friday. But reports over the weekend suggested the England forward had spent Thursday evening at a Belfast nightclub before missing training with United the next day. He reported ill. The rest is an internal matter. I deal with it. We will deal with it, Ten Hag said after United blew a 2-goal lead before surviving their trip to fourth-tier Newport. The 26-year-old Rashford has scored just 4 goals so far this season, with his off-field conduct leading to fresh criticism. Now, Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta said his side's Premier League title challenge was building momentum after the Gunners beat Nottingham Forest 2-1 on Tuesday to move up to second in the table. Gabriel Jesus and Bukayo Saka were on target at the City Ground as the Gunners moved within 2 points of Liverpool, who they face at the Emirates on Sunday. Liverpool can stretch their advantage at the top once more when they host Chelsea later tonight. Arteta's men had not won away since early December as their push for a first title in 20 years stumbled over the festive period. Stay tuned for your sports roundup. This is where I wrap up the Primetime News Midweek Edition. Many thanks for making a date with me. Another Primetime News update awaits tomorrow. Stay abreast with developments within and beyond Namibia by following the on-screen prompts. Also feel free to interact with us in the comment section. That said, from myself, Salima Shimwefeleni Masipa, and my production crew behind the scenes, it's good night.